Buying your own home is part of the American dream, but imagine spending years making payments only to discover that you don't actually own your home.
They're called contracts for deed. Action News Jack's Paige Kelton investigates a company accused of signing people up for a deal that is designed to fail.
Some call it the illusion of home ownership. In reality, you've signed a high-interest land contract, making you financially responsible for a home you don't own. And there's no Florida law to protect you.
We just want to talk about Harbor Portfolio. You're on private property.
That's Chad Vose, president of Harbor Portfolio, avoiding questions about accusations his company preys on people who can't qualify for a traditional home mortgage. Jacksonville's Famita Veal says she's one of them.
They sent the contract in the mail, and I was just so excited. I just signed all of this stuff. Wow.
It needed work, but when Veal bought this Springfield home, it was the realization of a dream until she went to file for a homestead exemption.
They said, but your name is nowhere on this paper. You gotta be kidding.
It often ends in heartbreak, even though it's legal.
Jason Stujenki teamed up with our sister stations across the country in an Action 9 investigation that spanned 7 states. Jason?
Yeah, well, guys, you sign the papers, you think you're the homeowner, but you're not, and you can lose everything you put into the home.
You got little spots that's soft like that. That's
Marvin Finger wanted a house.
I got it for my kids. Yeah. Something I can leave them after I'm gone.
He found this one in Salisbury crawling with problems.
We have uncovered a pretty troubling pattern. It's with one particular company. Fox 13 consumer investigator Kristen Lee found 47 homes right here in Memphis that are owned by this company.
That's 47 people affected. She joins us live in the studio now. And Kristen, the problem spanned from overpriced homes to unlivable conditions, you found out.
Daryl, attracted by low down payments, families signed the company's contract. They believe they own the home, but many will never see their name on the deed.
We found people who thought they were buying homes in the area, even though they were paying a mortgage. Their names aren't on the deed. 11 investigates Catherine Varnum live outside one of these homes now with more for us. Catherine.
David, we're talking about a company that bought a house just like this one during the housing crisis for next to nothing. They didn't do any work to it, but then they sold it for sometimes more than double the price to families who were hoping just to get a home. Boarded up and busted out windows, overgrown weeds and crumbling roofs. Promises of opportunity and home ownership, but now run down and dilapidated.
My wife and I were homeless, so we were like kind of like going house to house, and this house kind of like fell into our lap.
Many of the families think they're buying a home, but they're not. They feel misled and blame the investment firm Harbor Portfolio. When the company's CEO, Charles Vose, who goes by Chad, didn't call us back, we went to Dallas to track him down.
Why you gotta run?
Chad Vose, the guy running, is the CEO of Harbor Portfolio. He lives in this $4.5 million home in Dallas and drives a new Mercedes SUV.
Chad?
Vose took off when he saw our camera. Did you have a dream of owning a home?
I did.
Single mom Bridget Reed had nowhere to run when she and her 6 kids were forced to leave their home.
And they just uproot you like that. It hurts.
She signed a contract for deed with Harbor in 2012 for this as-is home in North Tulsa at a 10% interest rate and twice the price Harbor paid for it.
That's highway robbery.
She made payments for 3 years, but unexpected home repair costs put her behind, and Harbor took her home away. Any idea how much you spent over those 3 years?
Thousands.
And what'd you get out of it?
Nothing.
I retextured the ceiling.
Raymond Jones saw Harbor Portfolio sign in the window of this North Tulsa home. He also signed a contract for deed with Harbor.
It was hideous when I moved in.
He says for 3 months he slept on the floor and worked on the house to get it in good enough shape for his kids to move in.
Because it wasn't safe for him.
Raymond has been paying on his home for 3 years, but he recently fell, and doctors had to amputate his leg. Now he's learning how to use a prosthetic, and he can't work. Are you worried about your finances?
Yes, I'm worried about my finances because I'm struggling.
Raymond thought he owned his home. Look right here under the owner name. Until I handed him property records that show he does not own it. How does that make you feel?
That's not cool with me. That's not cool at all.
This is not a mortgage.
Legal aid attorney Kimberly Moore says a contract for deed is just like a rental lease that can last up to 30 years. You don't own the home until you've paid the last payment. Is there an easy way out?
No, most people just walk. It's very sad.
Is there anything in the contract that protects the families?
No.
So it protects the seller. Now 17 families are suing Harbor Portfolio. The federal lawsuit says their contracts are predatory and abusive. In court documents, Harbor says the contracts are legal and a common path to affordable home ownership. We called multiple numbers to try to get a hold of Vos and his attorneys, but that didn't work. So we came to his affluent Dallas neighborhood to try to find him. We teamed up with our Cox Media Group partners to track him down. At first, it seemed no one was home. Then later, we talked to Vos's wife as she was leaving.
Let me see if he's here. Hang on one second.
Okay.
And then his sister showed up. Could you help us get in touch with him?
No.
We knocked on the door again, but he didn't answer, so we waited. It's been about 20 minutes since his wife drove out of the driveway, and we're all just standing here waiting. Hopefully, he'll show up and we can talk to him. But he didn't. So the next day, we tried to talk to him when he was going to work.
We just want to talk about Harbor Portfolio.
We caught up to him at the elevator.
A lot of people have a lot of questions about the company. But I'm not going to say.
After an uncomfortable elevator ride,
Have you leave the building?
security escorted us out of the building. Do you feel they misled you?
Yes. Hands down, they want their money.
According to his contract, one missed payment means he could lose his home.
Yes, I'm worried about my finances because I'm struggling.
Jones isn't alone. We teamed up with Cox Media Group partners across the United States and tracked homes owned by Harbor Portfolio in 7 states. Most are fixer-uppers, filled with Americans trying to purchase them with land contracts, a type of seller financing with terms that include low payments but high interest rates.
The terms in general are unfavorable and sort of built to fail.
Ann Carpenter tracks housing trends for the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta. She says buyers attracted to low payments may not understand the risks.
It's unfortunate because it's very risky. It doesn't come with the protections and oversight that the traditional mortgage market does.
Repairs are required, but most, like this home in DeKalb County, are not inspected or appraised. Buyers may be ill-prepared for the expense. One missed payment could mean forfeiting the property and money invested, often without a foreclosure. In 2016, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau launched an investigation of Harbor's and partner companies' marketing and collection practices. They even took Harbor to court for documents. People we spoke with were shocked to learn they didn't legally own their home. Some even thought they had mortgages.
Were you aware that your name wasn't on the property records and the real estate records?
No. It said, but your name is nowhere on this paper. You gotta be kidding.
Look right here under the owner name.
My name's nowhere to be seen anywhere? That's not cool with me. That's not cool at all.
We wanted to ask Harbor President Chad Vos about allegations of predatory practices. After several unreturned calls, we went to Dallas to get answers. Why you gotta run? Can we just talk with you about Harbor Portfolio?
No, sir, you can talk to our, I'm not going to say.